All right, welcome back for episode 5. Today we're going to talk about hoarder houses. So this is a fun one. We've had some up close and personal experiences. Spencer actually bought one of these, and
very up close and personal. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear that. You bought a hoarder house.
We bought one. Yep, yeah. And we've sold several and have lots of experiences with that. So we're going to talk a little bit about the mentality behind it, kind of what causes it, and then what we do to help in these situations and how we can really benefit those that we serve there. So let's start out. Spencer, why don't you tell us a little bit about your buying experience?
So our very first house, it was right before everything started to shoot up during COVID. We were at that point where we wanted to buy our first house, and we had our neighborhood picked out as kind of the neighborhood that I grew up in and everything, and couldn't really find anything in our price range. And then we found out about this lady in our church congregation that was planning to move in with her daughter and out in Tennessee. And she's like, yeah, come over and check out the house and see how much it's worth. And I do need to sell it, whether it's to you or on the market. I'd love for you to help me. And so we went over there, and we walk in the house, and we're like, okay. It wasn't, so there's a few, in my mind, there's a few categories of hoarders. There's like, you have your hoarders that they're not dirty per se. They just
I remember you saying this before. They weren't a dirty hoarder.
Yeah, they just have a ton of stuff. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it was like, you could have fit 5 Hobby Lobby stores in this house. So like crafting material, everything from like picture frames, wrapping paper, scissors. I think there's still like, you know, those little fluff balls that you can like glue to construction paper.
Still
like
find them?
Liam comes up from the basement with like stuff. I'm like, where the heck did you find this? And it's like stuffed somewhere in a closet that anyway.
You must have bought a huge house then. 5 Hobby Lobbies.
Freaking huge. 3 bedrooms total.
No. So just a lot of stuff.
Okay. It's a good sized house. It's a bigger footprint because it's a ranch style home. It's like, it's about 4,000 square feet total. So good. I mean, it's a good sized house for the neighborhood. And, but overall, just a lot of stuff. So we go in there and we're like, hey, you know, this is about how much it's worth. If you're to do the updates, here's what it's going to look like. And she's like, I don't want to show it because I don't want to have to get rid of all this stuff, which is a very common thing to hear from people that have a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to have to clean it out.
Yep.
Done. Okay, so we made her a deal, and we're like, here's what we'll do. We'll come in at this price, and then we'll help you clean it all out. And we went through 4 30-yard dumpsters. Mm-hmm. So do you know what a 30-yard dumpster is?
I've got one in my driveway. Yeah.
It's like one of the biggest ones you can get. I think there's one more bigger than that.
Yep.
Which is a 40-yard.
Take up the whole length of your driveway in one car. Yeah.
Wouldn't even fit in my driveway.
We rent one of those for our club cleanups twice a year.
Yes.
They fill it.
The size of a Suburban XXL.
Yeah, they don't even use that size for roofing jobs. Like this one is major construction jobs. So we filled 4 of those.
Now I'm getting sad. So none of this stuff was even saved. She just threw it all away.
Well, here's the problem is like a lot of it could have been saved, but here's, and I'm painting this lady as like, not nicely, but she is a beautiful person. She's a really nice lady. Mm-hmm. We love her to death. She was a very close friend of ours and still is. But it was really hard for her to let go of a lot of this stuff. And we ended up even filling a semi-truck trailer full of her stuff to move to Tennessee. So it was on top of the 4 dumpsters we filled was another semi-truck trailer load of, I can't remember what the size of the trailer was, but it was enough to move 2 families.
Yep.
And so anyway, it was a project and a half. We got a great house, and we love that house, and we'll never get rid of that house.
Yeah.
Even if we move, we're going to hold on to it and rent it out. But great house, walkout basement, 1/4 acre. There were a few things we had to do. Just rebuilt the deck on it and got a brand new roof on it and things like that. So But it was not an easy job to get through the under contract process. Like, it took us a long time to get in the house. We gave her a full 60-day post-closing occupancy after a 30-day close. So she had 90 days, which, and I probably shouldn't say this, but we ended up having to go more than the PCOA, the post-closing occupancy, because she wasn't moved out yet. And we were over there almost every day, throwing stuff away and saying, do you want this?
Yeah.
Do you want this? Toss it, keep it, whatever.
And people will pay for convenience, right? And
yeah.
So I think that especially someone with a bit of a hoarding mentality will pay even more for convenience and timing flexibility. So that was a good move.
And I can gladly say, because my biggest thing was I don't want to cheat this sweet lady out of what her home is worth. Mm-hmm. So we kind of took into account, we came to an agreement of like, this is what we'll pay you for it, and we'll help you get all this stuff out. But keep in mind, we'd like to come down just a little bit because we are going to have to do a lot of work here. Just like we would with, like, if you found stuff in an inspection, like it's almost a concession. It is a ton of work. Yeah. It's a lot of work, and we are still working on that. I mean,
how long has it been?
It's been over a year. It was a year in 2 years?
Yeah, it's been 2, right?
2 years.
Yeah.
It's been a process. I mean, we got to redo all the flooring eventually, and we got to paint. We got to paint inside and outside. Funny story is my daughter prayed for a pink house for us to move in, and that's what she got, is a pink house.
Inside or out, both?
And what promise did you make to her? What promise did you make?
That we'd keep it for a year.
And it's still pink.
You have a pink house.
Yeah. Well, some things have gotten in the way. Okay.
You and John.
It's been 2 years and it's still
I had to build a deck because it was falling apart. It was either the safety of my kids or
going deck.
Pink or paint the house.
Strawberry shortcake Wilson.
Yeah. So
all right,
that's it. That's my story. It's still a process. Like, I mean, there's still stuff in the backyard that we just haven't really gotten rid of yet, like some old grills and stuff. It kind of looks a little bit trashy back there sometimes.
So my story is not nearly as personal. Should I tell my story?
Sure. Please.
Yeah.
So for the audience, my daughter and my wife, I haven't been at this very long, but one of the first listing presentations we went on was with a client who needed to sell and then buy. So it was a two-sided deal, which are generally great. But he was a hoarder. And as I was joking earlier, like, it was very nice stuff. A lot of it was never out of the box. So he wasn't a dirty hoarder, but there was just stuff everywhere. And we were trying to solve, how are we going to list this house? So from our perspective and the value we provide, we got to sell this house, and it gets very, very difficult. So the first plan was we rented a storage unit and hired movers to come move 75% of the house out so that he could still live there, but everything else is gone. And I think, candidly, we just kind of spooked him. It was a lot to go through. It was 72 hours. We'd hired all this stuff, and he finally said, whoa, I'm not ready for this. So when we regrouped...
So much so that he walked away from a deposit that
he
did
made
to the movers.
Very painful.
He was that spooked by...
We hired
by
the same movers later.
Yeah.
So he lost money.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. But when we revisited, we looked at another approach, which is not, it's, I joke with him, you're buying yourself out of pain, but you're also getting your house to show that much better to get a higher price point, less time on the market.
Yeah.
So the program we used was like a bridge loan. So we did a bridge loan against the asset that he owned. We were able to then go buy and then move him in the span of 30 days, maybe it was 40 days. So he's paying not nothing. It was 1.5 percentage points on the value, as I recall. So not nothing, but you get all the flexibility. He's in a beautiful new home.
Yep.
We were able then, and we painted some walls, we scrubbed the rugs, etc.
Yep.
But we essentially had a clean canvas, and we staged it, which maybe we talked more about staging.
Yeah. And then just to interrupt real quick,
Yeah.
the convenience fee of 1.5% for our Cash Pros program that we have is nothing compared to what you would pay a flipper, right? You pay a flipper to buy that house, it's a 20% fee.
Yeah.
Convenience fee, right? ours is at 1.5% to move first and sell later.
Yeah.
So much better than what you would pay for an investor.
Very flexible, very fine-tuned process. He was able to, he was allowed to grumble a bit because it was not nothing, but I think we more than made up for it. We were on the market for 9 days. We had a great offer, and we're on, on our way. Anyway, a different approach. But when we walked in, we're both looking around going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? There were 2 table sets. There was cabinets. There was art on every nook, piece of the wall.
It's a completely different animal trying to sell and even trying to buy a hoarder house.
Anyway, it was a great process in the end. He's in a great place. We got a great buyer. So it can be done.
So where did he end up putting all that stuff?
Some of it was gone.
Yeah.
He hired the greatest gal. I spent a day with her to do the unpacking. So sadly, most of it's in his new place. It's a little more organized.
Yeah.
And
Stuff's
spread
out of the box.
Yeah.
Some of it was thrown away.
Got an unfinished basement to throw stuff.
He's got
So you can clear.
He
out
swears he's going to finish that, so he's got an unfinished basement. He's got a lot of place to hide it.
Yeah. So here's the difference between, well, both these experiences are relatively clean experiences. Like when we're talking about the physical appearance of the house.
Horror stories I've heard are where you're going next.
Now, there is the opposite end of the spectrum where it's not clean at all. Have you ever dealt with anything like that? I've walked into multiple, never
walked away
tried to
from
sell one,
Yep.
or never had the opportunity, I guess.
Yeah.
If opportunity is what you want to call it, because
Yep.
it is, I can only imagine the project of something of that caliber as far as how the cleanliness and getting it ready for, I mean, those are the kind of things where you get the texts, we've talked about it in the previous episode, where you get the text from the guys who are like, hey, do you have any properties that need to be fixed or flipped or whatever?
Yeah.
Those are the ones I'd be like, yeah, I do. We're not even going to go to market. Just take it off my hands. Give me a good price
Well,
for
I
it.
don't know. I don't think I'd say yes. Have you ever said no?
Yeah.
Sometimes you would. That's one reason why you might.
To the listing.
Just,
that's.
you cannot see a path.
Have you done that, Landon?
I always feel like there's something we can do to help them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some resource we can turn to. And so I want to be sensitive with this because oftentimes, hoarding is often side by side with either physical or mental ailments.
Absolutely.
That people are going through. They're going through a lot, and you just never know what created that and why they, are the way they are. It could be genetic. It could be, that
trauma.
Over
Yep.
100 years, everyone in their family has been like that. It could be a trauma thing, like you said. So there's just, we always walk into it. And one of the keys that I think is so important as a listing agent is to walk in the door, greet them, treat them great, just like you would anybody else. Walk through the house and don't show any signs of disgust or that it's off-putting to you or anything. I just walk over stuff and keep on, treading my way through the home and be polite. Ask them, hey, is that okay if I go here? Is that okay if I go here? Sometimes they are very, very, not possessive, but like sensitive with their stuff because their stuff means so much to them. That's why they've kept it.
Absolutely.
And so if you start moving stuff around, a lot of times they don't like that. If you think that, oh, this looks like trash, I'm going to toss it. Whoa, that was my magazine I got 4 weeks ago that's a big deal to me. That was my whole Christmas plan. Like there's you got to treat things differently. And I think just being respectful is the main thing, and being really positive and not being discouraging when you walk through a place like that.
I remember walking in because, again, as I said, I was pretty new to this game, and I was watching you because I walked in and some of those, thoughts come across like, oh my God, this is, what are we going to do, et cetera. And I just looked at his face, and he was cool and said exactly what you just said there. May I? Can I? Is it okay if? And it went great. Anyway, he's I think he'll remain a good friend. We went through a lot together. It was hard, but it was great for him. Great learning for me.
Yeah.
There's a path. We found a path.
And hopefully I didn't seem insensitive there. But
I feel like I did.
But and when it comes to our profession, our job is to make it the best experience possible for everybody, to treat everybody as equal, and because we all are. But I guess where I was coming from was more of it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And when you're dealing with that's exactly the same thing that we dealt with. Our seller was, she was so attached to everything, and which is fine. I get it. Like, I have a ton of stuff too that I don't want to throw away, but it's just sitting there doing nothing. And so when we would ask her, like, hey, can we throw this away? She's like, no. Like, that's from like this year, and this is what it means to me. She had a purpose for everything. Yeah. She had a purpose for buying every single thing in that house.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can't necessarily understand fully. And so our job is to go in there, present the facts of what we're looking at in a kind manner. But that's not to say it's we don't have our work cut out for us on those. They're hard just because of the time it takes to get them ready to sell.
For sure. And I think the interesting thing too is people that are involved with hoarding, they often are pet people too, because oftentimes they don't have a lot of guests that come over to their house with them, and so their best friends are their animals. And so I've seen a lot of things as far as that goes too, with just homes where I've walked through and seen, dog poop on the carpets, on the floors, that's just hasn't been picked up for months. And that's, there's smells that go along with that. There's all kinds of stuff. I remember asking one seller that I was working with this year, I just said, can I borrow your pooper scooper to help you in the backyard, and I'll pick up the poop for you so it looks better, and offered to do that. And she said, I've never owned one. And she had a couple dogs, and
you looked in the backyard and said, no, I guess you haven't.
Well, yeah, and they're like, you own everything else, but no,
the one thing,
but not a pooper scooper. So there's just things that just blind spots that just are not quite there in their minds, and so we do our best to serve. We are in a service industry, so we want to help these people, and there's a way to go about it. I mean, our vocabulary has to be different. It's not, hey, we want to throw this stuff out or get rid of this. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear, let's relocate. Relocate.
There's a process.
Right? That's less scary.
We're not getting rid of it. We're moving it to the secondary pile, and then later you look at the secondary pile
and sort through there.
Totally. And we have some great resources for that. So some of the things that we can do to help we've got fantastic junk removal companies, right?
Yep.
If we were talking to them, we'd call them
reallocation
of assets. But we've got some great companies that do that. We also have some great companies that come in and they'll help pack, kind of like Chad was saying, help them
both ends. She did both
stuff.
ends.
Yes.
Pack and unpack.
Yep. Get stuff in boxes for them. And then they are usually associated with movers that will help move too. And so that's the nice thing is we've got all the resources to make that happen and clear things out. We've got that cash program that they can buy first, get everything into the next house. So it saves them money on storage, and that convenience fee a lot of times is equal to what they would have paid in storage anyways. And
you take it upon yourself to try to make up based upon, now that I have a clean slate, can I get a higher sell price, which we were close to.
I would say, so for all the buyers out there, never overlook these houses. These can be diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
I mean, I know it's hard to look past some of the stuff, and like, especially when they list it where it's selling as is, for example. You see those on the market every once in a while. And almost every time I see those come on the market, I'm like, okay, let's look past it. Let's look at the layout. Let's look at, bedrooms, bathrooms. What do they have here that's going for them?
Yep.
And if you have the mindset of like, hey, this is a sweet house. The bones are good.
Bones are good.
And you can make it your own. That is a prime opportunity, not only to get it for a really good price. So when we're talking like long-term investment, those are some really, really good options because you make it your own, and you went from this price that went from a home that you got an incredible deal on that required some work. You put some money into it, and now it's like way over here in appreciation.
Yep.
They appreciate that much more when you put the work into it, and you almost always get your money back plus that. So
there's a couple points I want to make, and I think I can make them fairly seamlessly, because at least twice you've talked about how people buy and heavily emotional. Yeah, we just went through your story where you did not buy emotion. It was the opposite, right? Yet you practically saw the answer.
Yep.
So people buy for both reasons. More often than not, you have to plan for buying emotionally and prepare. I think we have another episode where we're going to talk about preparing. But our case, the house we've now lived in for 17 years, beautiful house, great bones, there was wallpaper on damn near every wall, and it was not pretty. It was immaculately done. Like, the quality craftsmanship was great. It was not pretty.
Yeah.
And I think we were able to see past that, and I feel like we got a great deal back then, and now it's, best investment we've ever been part of.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Sometimes you got to see past the emotion and see the
100%. I feel the same way. We looked at this house and we're like, man, this is like a perfect house for our little family. We have enough for what we have, plus room to grow. And then we can do whatever the heck we want, because everything in here was exactly what the builders put in it. It's still like same countertops, same flooring. They may have painted it white at one point, but I would not be surprised if that paint is 20 plus years old. So, they painted the outside. I mean, we have brand new paint on the outside, and I know the painter who did it. My dad. So despite all of his advisement of like, hey, maybe we should go with a different color, she's like, no, I want pink. So we got pink, but like,
shout out to Mike Wilson, by the way. It's just what a stud.
What a stud, man.
I feel like I missed part of the story. So it's pink because you painted it pink. I thought you inherited
indirectly,
it pink.
yes. Yeah, so my dad, like I said, she was a good family
Your
friend.
dad loves your daughter more than he loves you.
So here's the thing, because she was in our church congregation. We have opportunities to serve those in our congregation and stuff, and this was one of those opportunities. And my dad's like, you know what, Mrs. Seller, like if you need your house painted, I got all. My dad's super handy. That was part of his job growing up. Or not growing up, but he owned a business and home remodeling and stuff, and he very well versed in all that. So he's like, I got sprayers, we'll paint it for you. Tell me the color you want. And she's like, I want this color. He's like,
that's pink.
Okay.
Not gonna argue with you, man.
It's like, well, are you sure? It's kind of pink. She argued it was salmon. To each their own.
But frosted strawberry from Coral.
Yeah, it's not pink, it's coral.
But I can't complain. I got a brand new coat of paint on my house, and we're planning to paint it hopefully this season. But once we get 55 plus degrees, we'll start thinking about it.
Awesome.
Anyway, a lot of potential.
And I just want to say, like, to finish up, like the fiduciary responsibility that we have to sellers is so important. And like when I ever come across someone that's in a position where they may be distressed or a hoarder, my first thought is always, how can we make you the most money on your home? And if they're mentally and financially capable of doing that, then we'll give them the game plan and execute it. But if they're not, which in some cases is just not possible, budget-wise or from a mental capacity-wise, they don't have that in them. And even with working with family in those situations where they're not capable, those times, we have to throw a curveball, and we have to offer to connect them with some investors or do some other things so that they can get that convenience that they need. Because sometimes people will pay a lot of money for that convenience, and that is number one for them. But there are other times where dollar is number one, and getting them top dollar. And so that's what we always will try to do. We will always try to serve their best interests and make sure that they're making either the most money or getting the best outcome for them in their personal situation. And I think that's key, no matter who you're talking to when you're looking to sell a house. So
agreed.
Awesome. Well, that was a fun one. We'll probably have more to come.
Oh yeah,
next year. I hope so. They're kind of an adventure to deal with. So it's
they always make for good learning experiences.
Yes,
never had a negative one.
Absolutely.
So. Well, we talked about story time episodes. That was close to one.
Yeah.
At some point, maybe we'll just do pure crazy stories or great stories.
I've got a few of those.
Absolutely. And if you know someone who is a hoarder and you're like hesitant to send them to like this agent that just doesn't do that type of property, like send them to us. We love working with those people, and we have the resources. We have odor removal people. We have water mitigation people. We've got everything.
Professional organizers.
Yeah.
Like we've got junk removal.
We know what to do to help them and give them a great experience. So thanks for joining us today for episode 5, and we'll catch you next time.